Good morning and welcome back to another week of WCS Getting Your Email Right for You. Now, the interesting part is despite the widely predicted death of email, it still remains as popular as ever. Over 31% of marketers consider using email newsletters to be their top channel. And of that number, over 81% of B2B marketers consider it their preferred form of content marketing. Now, a lot of you are going, hang on a sec, surely, with the rise of TikTok, social, Instagram, what have you, no one really reads email newsletters anymore. And the answer is, weirdly enough, yes. And they want to hear from us. 95% of Gen Z, Millennials, and Gen X all receive newsletters. And I can tell you right now that Generation Alpha is well on the way. Even now, at school, they're expected to do their homework, for example, on computer, and they get newsletters from their school. That habit will follow them their entire life. So yes, the death of email newsletter has been greatly exaggerated. If anything, it's going to grow. These days, it's not acceptable to be not literate. It's not acceptable not to be connected to the internet, which means you need a form of communication. And so far, everyone has an email address. So, obviously, I'm a little bit biased since I love email marketing, but for me, it remains one of the most flexible, ethical marketing practices you can do when it is done right. However, at the same time, a lot of people struggle to either get the newsletter off the ground or to keep it going. So in today's video, we're going to talk about templates, how to completely systemize your email process and make it enjoyable and fun for you. And this is something I do for a lot of my clients. I put it in place for them. I do this for myself. So when I talk about these things, I really am walking the talk. This is part of what I do on a weekly basis for my business. Now, if you want to sign up and see my email newsletters in the flesh and get them from me, just jump on below and sign up. Okay, you also get some goodies. You get a chance to access my free course on building your lead magnet and everything else in terms of tips and tricks, and it is free. My aim here is not to sell to you, although I will occasionally mention the offer, is to serve you. And that's the first thing about email newsletters. They provide a service. People don't sign up to hear from you, wonderful though you are. They sign up because of what you can do for them. So whatever your promise is in the email marketing, that's what you've got to deliver upon in your newsletter every week. Not memories, not nice pictures. It's about what can you do for your audience. This leads me to the next point, in that a new email newsletter should be predictable. And this is where templating and systemizing everything is really, really important, because you don't have the brain space to sit down for hours and then write a newsletter. In best case scenarios, you can do it in under 30 minutes, but that's only if you've already done the thinking ahead of time. So the first thing with a newsletter template is that you want to optimize. You want to optimize mobile, you want to optimize desktop. You want those images, if you're using images, to look crisp and clean. You want your logo to appear. You want to make sure all the links are working. So the smart way forward is to get your newsletter set up, spend some time on the template, but only do it once. Remember, a newsletter is there as almost as a gateway drug. Your aim is to get people through the link and onto your video, onto your blog, onto your website, onto your offer. You only need enough for that, unless you're running a very old-fashioned newsletter, in which case that's a completely different topic. Please come back another day. But unless you are doing opinion writing or journalism, in which case you know more about writing than I do, what you want is a short, sharp newsletter that signposts people to where they want to go, and predictability is the keystone to this. People want their eye line to be followed. They want to know where to look, they want to know what to click on. So being predictable in your links, in your layout, and in your pictures will help your brand immensely. And as I said, it cuts down on decision time. And that's the one thing the human brain hates doing, decisions. We make thousands of micro decisions every single day of the week, every moment of the day. What's where to go, how to navigate, what to move. And that takes up a lot of thinking power. 20% of our calories goes on our brain. That's a massive amount for this organ. So if the brain can take a shortcut, it will. And you need to take advantage of your brain power and its effort to be lazy to make the most of your newsletter. So let's assume that you are a typical brand, you've got your newsletter set up, you know your fonts, you know your image, you've got the layout done. That's great. The next step is your topics, also known as content. Oh God, I hate that word, but it's so useful here. Now, ideally, each quarter you sit down, you look at what your customers have been asking you, you're looking at what your competitors are saying, you're looking at keywords and saying, This is the trend that's happening in my industry at the moment. There's no getting involved here. And then you might want to throw in, what's my company interested in? What are our goals? What do we want to do? And this is more than just the bottom line. This is about where you want to go as a thought leader, and you are a thought leader. Never doubt that. Even if you're starting with a newsletter of one person and yourself, you are thinking about it, and you deserve to have that done properly. So, you have your topics. Let's say that you're doing a weekly newsletter. Frequency we'll talk about another day, or you can check out my video shorts. You've got your topics, one per week. You know what people are asking, and you also know where they are on the journey. And this is quite important. When it comes to email newsletters, you generally have people that are about what marketers would say middle of the funnel. Just a quick explanation here. The top of the funnel are people that don't even know they have a problem. Okay? Let's say you sell widgets, they don't even know what widget is. Middle of the funnel is people know what widgets are for, and they know that they might have a problem, and they want to know how to solve it. The bottom of the funnel is when they know they need that widget and they want to buy it from you. Bottom of the funnel is when you convince them that you know what you're talking about, you can get their trust, and you will deliver. So one of the reasons why newsletters are so valuable is because you're capturing that centre of the funnel. You're capturing these people at that point of the journey when they're thinking about buying, or they're thinking about what's the best way forward to get into this topic. So your newsletter is there to inform, to educate, to entertain, and remind. So it's a pretty powerful piece of content that's going out each week for pennies. And that's one of the reasons why marketers love it so much. The hardest part is just convincing someone to sign up to your newsletter list. And yes, I have an entire course about that. But the second hardest part is creating enough content week in, week out to show up consistently, to build trust, and to have fun. Because at the end of the day, if you think it's boring, I can guarantee your subscribers will as well, okay? And these are the people you're choosing to spend your working, waking hours with. So you better make it a good one, right? Now, take away the decisions. Create your topic list, okay? So you now have 12 topics for your quarter. The next thing you want to do is break down what you're going to say in each topic. And at this point, it should be getting easier now because you can align it, or map it, as I say, to what your customers are thinking and feeling. And it doesn't have to be long. You know, it can literally be just a couple of sentences, which then lead them to a greater piece, either on your website, as I said before, on your blog. You can even repurpose your newsletter for this. And don't forget, you've also got social. Email marketing and social goes so well together. So never forget that if you are pumping out content over on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or one of the other big places, you can reuse that in your newsletter, and you can also post your newsletter to there. So always think multi-channel. How can you squeeze the maximum amount of everything you're talking about? So you have your template set up, which is great. You have templated what you needed to do for your content marketing, the initial topics, and you've broken down those topics further into what you're going to say for each one. Now, you don't have to do that instantly. You can do that on a week by week and month by month basis. The trick, however, is knowing what you want to say so you're reducing those decisions. And the best bit about it is once you know what you want to say, you also then know where you want to link it to, which means you've got the whole thing laid out. And for email marketing, it's always about where are you sending people, not just what are you saying. The next thing to systemize is going to be your pictures. Now, if you might go completely naked, you may choose only to use words. That's cool. I won't take that away. There's a ton of very successful creators, both in the business and consumer worlds, who do naked newsletters, as I call them, where it's literally a quick newsletter, just like you see in a Gmail form, and an open line. Now, the key here, if you're going to go down the route of written only, A, you've got to bloody well know your audience, and B, you've got to be a very good writer, and C, you've got to be prepared to edit remorselessly. Because it's all dependent upon the opening line and the title. You've got to grab people's attention with a hook instantly. Now, don't get me wrong, you still need to do that with your normal newsletter, but you've got the advantage there of also using visuals and graphics and visual content such as videos and memes and GIFs grab people's attention because we are a visual creature. Unlike a lot of animals in the animal kingdom, we have a full spectrum of colour in our eyes, which means that we love looking at faces, things, movement. So take advantage of it, make the most of it. That's why email banners, headers, and moving pictures still get a lot of attention even today. Because people will scroll through it, see the preview on the phone, and decide whether or not to download it. Now, that comes to the caveat that if a lot of your subscriber base are Apple users, Apple has a tendency to put privacy filters on, so you can't always guarantee they'll see it instantly. So when you use pictures as part of the alt tag, make sure you say what it is. Do not neglect that because it's good for visibility, it's good for disability usage if people are partially sighted or blind, and it's good for anyone that is using AI to screen read their emails. At the end of the day, you can't do anything about how the message is delivered, but you can do a lot about making sure it gets through to them. So you have your Canva template set up, so you can create the correct screen sizes which are optimized for mobile and for viewing usage. You have your font sizes and brand set up, you know what you're doing for your topics, and you know what you're doing for your links. And please make sure those links work. There's nothing worse than having a perfectly gorgeous email with the wrong link. And yes, we've all done it. In fact, I have a Hall of Shame wall of emails I've had from various brands over the year where I've had to go, sorry, link doesn't work. And the trick is, if you do have a link that doesn't work, just drop out another email and say, we're really sorry we messed up, because that makes you seem human. It's better to be honest about it than cover up. However, going back here to your template, okay, so you've assembled everything, you're thinking this looks really good. You're still missing the vital piece of the email marketing system, and that is templating your response, and also known as aftercare. So once that email has been sent out, a lot of businesses look at the click rate, they look at the open rate, and forget about it. We all do it because, let's face it, life is busy. However, the truly great people, the ones that are doing amazing email marketing out there, are the ones that pay attention to their aftercare. And yes, they've templated that response as well. They've systemized it. They put aside time each week to go through their emails. They put aside time to go through their workflows or automation. So they check out what's happening for emails, for welcome, for abandoned cart, for win back, and also for people that make inquiries as well, and how that gets followed up. Because it's all about the touch points every single step of the way. Now, the other thing to look at are how many people unsubscribe and how many people are bouncing, because that's going to hurt your email list. So you've got to keep it clean. And aftercare includes looking after your email list. That means pruning out any bots, pruning out any fake emails. You'd be amazed how many people sign up for a competition using a fake email address. Weeding out people that haven't opened in 6 months, because there's a very good chance either they've lost interest and just delete it. A lot of people don't unsubscribe. Search for me, because unsubscribe is necessary these days. It's compulsory, in fact, for the EU and US law. But a lot of people won't unsubscribe or simply stick it in junk or they delete it. You do not want these people on your email list. If they haven't opened in 6 months or even 12 months, they've had no response at all, they're not likely to respond after that. Okay? Basically, the longer it takes for someone to open and read your email, they're less likely to remember, they're less likely to trust you, they're less likely to buy. So it is a case of being ruthless with your email list, because that keeps your sender reputation high, it keeps your open rate high, it keeps you high. And that's necessary. You need your enthusiasm for this. And if you're seeing your rate drop like a stone week after week, you know there's a big issue. And that's something you need to address. So aftercare is a crucial bit of email marketing. Make sure you put it in your diary, schedule it weekly, and every quarter go back, look at what really works for you and which emails got the most traction and why. Okay? So put all those things together and you are in a really good place to do your newsletters. This is Natalie from Right Click Sell, over and out.